40 years ago tonight, an attempt was made by the IRA to assassinate the then Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and senior members of her government. The bombing of Brighton's Grand Hotel killed 5 people and seriously injured 34 others. But Baroness Thatcher escaped alive and cemented her Iron Lady reputation. Former ITN correspondent Paul Davis was staying near the Grand Hotel that night and was one of the first reporters on the scene. On the eve of the anniversary, he examines the legacy of the attack and speaks to one of the MPs who survived and the daughter of Sir Anthony Berry, who was killed.
Years in the planning, the IRA bomb ripped the heart out of the Tories' conference hotel. It so nearly achieved its aim of ripping the heart out of Margaret Thatcher's government.
Not too close.
My ITV News team had been just a short distance away from the Grand Hotel when the device exploded at 2:54 that morning.
Leave them open.
Within minutes of the blast, we joined emergency teams looking for survivors. The bomb had been planted on the 6th floor. Cameraman Nigel Thompson's dramatic pictures captured the immediate aftermath of an explosion that blew off the hotel roof and sent masonry crashing through the floors below. 5 were killed, 30 injured, many of them buried in rubble, including Harvey Thomas, the conference's organiser.
Harvey?
Yeah.
Just one question before you go. Was there anyone with you in that room?
No, nobody at all.
Nobody at all in that room?
On the seafront, dust-covered and clearly in shock, ministers and MPs, many still in their night clothes, emerged from this only partly successful act of mass murder. For as the Tory party chairman told me, the principal target, Margaret Thatcher, was safe.
Mr. Gummo, whereabouts were you when the explosion happened?
Well, I was with the Prime Minister at the time, and the explosion happened just as we were packing up.
What were you doing, and what did you hear?
Well, there was just a loud bang. It sounded like 2 bangs, but I wouldn't like to be too precise about that. And we were merely putting papers away, having completed the work for tomorrow.
And a short time later, a defiant Mrs. Thatcher appeared, saying the bomb would not stop her making the end of conference speech she'd been working on when the explosion happened.
Life must go on, as usual.
And your conference will go on.
Thank you.
Conference will go on.
Thank you.
All right, John. The conference will go on, as usual.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Thank you.
It later became clear that had the Prime Minister been using her bathroom at the time, she may well have been among the fatalities. We now know that the IRA bomber, Patrick McGee, had checked into the Grand 3.5 weeks before the conference and planted his device with a timer under a 6th-floor bath.
Oh, it's something you never ever forget.
One survivor, the MP John Whittingdale, says it was a shocking security lapse, one that changed conference time forever.
What do you think we lost on that dreadful night in Brighton? Well, I think it just changed the whole nature of political conferences and meetings. Previously, the security had been there, but not on a level that subsequently resulted after Brighton. In the same way that the job of an MP has changed, so now I have to have security at my constituency surgeries. But I do think that it is a loss to the democratic system that it is harder for people to meet and talk to their elected representatives.
Patrick McGee, the man who breached Margaret Thatcher's security, received 8 life sentences, but was freed in 1999 as part of the Good Friday Agreement.
And that was a shock. I was thinking, he's got his life back, he's free. How's that justice? How is that fair?
Joe Berry, whose father, Sir Anthony Berry MP, was one of those killed, overcame that initial shock and met his killer face to face.
I do remember a moment when I looked into his eyes and saw that he was a deep thinker. He got his PhD in prison and he cared for his community. Now, I'm never going to agree that violence is a way to respond to the suffering he saw, but I could see that he was someone who cared. You know, at that point, he's not this faceless enemy.
And I think it did change something in me.
This unlikely pair, the bomber and his victim's daughter, now appear together regularly, stressing the need for dialogue and mutual understanding between opposing causes. The world certainly needs both right now. But there's no turning the clock back for British politics and its leaders. Guns and intense security are a constant after a morning in Brighton that changed everything. Paul Davis, ITV News.
And for more on the Brighton bombing, Paul has also joined Sir John and Joe for a special ITVX programme, Bombing Thatcher, Brighton's Night of Terror, where they discuss their experiences of the attack and how it's shaped Britain as we know it today. That's available right now on ITV.com and ITVX.